Welcome to Local Point, your life, your stories, with your host, David Gale.
Hello everyone and welcome to Local Point. I'm your host, David Gale. Joining me today in the VTV6 studio is Joni Crane and Scott Major from the Boy Scouts of America, and they are here to discuss their project at Bacon Park. Welcome guys, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.
Maybe first we can have you tell us what your positions are with Boy Scouts of America. Scott?
Okay. My position is I'm a senior district executive. I am the professional scout for the basin.
Okay.
So there's just one of me that covers the whole basin area.
And so if we go to that building back behind the library, the Boy Scout building, that's where we find you.
That's my office, yeah.
Okay, very nice. Yeah. Joni?
I'm over there as well, but I'm his assistant. I'm a district assistant, but I'm also doing fund development for all the projects that we have planned for the Yonah Basin.
Okay. Now something that people might not know, that quite frankly I didn't know either, is that the Boy Scouts have ownership of certain facilities and buildings and whatnot, and some of which, obviously the building that you work in, it would be one of them, but up at Bacon Park, there's Boy Scout related stuff up there. Tell me about what's going on right now up there.
Well, the news flash is that for people who love Bacon Park, the bad news is that this winter the snow just completely destroyed most of our pavilions up there.
Oh no.
And it's a very loved camp. A lot of people are related. Even your own receptionist, I found out today, is related to James Bacon. And he's the person who donated the park originally. Okay. It's been out here for like 50 years. It's been utilized. I'm not sure what the...
About 40 years.
Is it 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it's been utilized for years by generations of families and kids for scouting, for family reunions, for camps and stuff like that. And so we have 4 big pavilions at the park, and 2 of them were completely destroyed.
Wow.
And one of them is unsound and the other one needs repairs. So we kind of...
They all need help.
Yeah, and so in a way it's definitely very sad. It's also a blessing in disguise, I think, because I think it got our council thinking about the legacy of scouting in the basin here and how profound it has been and how many thousands of people have come through as leader training, the kids, the youth, how many people it served, and it really has gotten their attention. And so in the long run, they had always had a plan to have like a big scout park there, and they realized it's not ever going to be big enough for the kind of park that they anticipated having there. Gotcha. And so they're going to kind of repurpose it. I think we have 2 pavilions that we're going to replace where the 4 came down. We're going to replace them with 2 new pavilions, but they're going to be brand new. They're going to be modern, sturdy, and a different style that is actually, they're only like 60% of the footprint of the ones that we have now.
Oh, really?
But they are going to have a central classroom area and then 2 outside teaching areas that will be under like an extension.
Okay.
And so it will actually serve our purposes better because it'll give us 6 classroom spaces for teaching, for dividing up groups and things like that. And so we've started trying to get the word out on the improvements that we need to make.
Okay.
We have stuff planned all summer at Bacon Park, and it's all going to have to go by the wayside if we don't jump on this and work fast.
Well, right. How long does it take to build pavilions?
Well, I can get it built fast. It depends on how much cooperation and help I get. And so we have, luckily, a lot of people who it's so close to their heart that just jumped on it immediately. And before we even got the word out about the pavilions, I think you are getting the first news officially of the damage. And we've already got people who've started donating. And today I want to actually thank Strata, because Strata's come in and just told us that they're going to give us $10,000 to help us with the recovery efforts at Bacon Park.
Oh, that's great.
And so I love Strata. When we moved here, it was like, do you want to be a customer or do you want to be an owner? And I was like, what's an owner? You can be part of a co-op? This is so cool.
Nice plug for Strata there.
I know. No, but they do so much for the community. And
Sure.
a lot of their people that they hire are scouters who've gone through leadership training. And so they recognize the significance of the park, and we're very
But
grateful.
$10,000, how much of that, or what does that make up of the total percentage that you need to be able to do what you need to do?
Well, Oh, that's a good question. Right now we have some projected long-term building and development to go on, not just at that location, but possibly another location for a longer-term solution to the needs for Scouts in the Basin that wouldn't be at Bacon Park. So we are looking for, any donations. First, we're focusing on getting Bacon Park at least recovering.
Getting going again.
Yeah.
And then after that, you've got further plans down the line that you would use any excess donations for.
Yeah,
for
but
that.
they wouldn't be at Bacon Park. And, we've had the political, concern about some of the things that have happened concerning development at Bacon Park and the neighbors. And we want them to know that we've listened to their concerns and we will not do anything, to infringe on their lifestyles.
Sure.
So we plan on having a good relationship with our neighbors. We're good Scouts.
Well, that's good. Just out of curiosity, how old were the old pavilions?
Probably since the inception of the park, or?
Yeah, so I think they were built shortly after it was donated by James Bacon, and so it's been about 40 years. I'm not exactly sure the date they were built, but it's been a long time.
And they've been improved upon over the years. Yeah. We constantly have wood badge patrols and NYLT timberline courses, and they always pick a project that they can do. So they always do some improvement to them. So when they're under need for repair, there's always somebody volunteering some time, because that's what service and scouting is about.
So what do you hope the audience that's watching right now, what do you hope that they're able to do to contribute, to help? What are you looking for?
I want a phone call at the Scout office telling me, that scouting has changed your life and your employees have benefited from the trainings that we offer, and your staff used to be Scouts, and you've got good people and you want to give back. And I'd love to help you give back.
looking for donations from people who have seen the benefit of scouting here in the UNA Basin.
Yes.
I think it would be hard to come by somebody. In my experience, I'm a transplant. I've only been here about 2 years, and I deal with a lot of people who do scouting, but a lot of people who don't as well. And it'd be hard to come by somebody who hasn't visited Bacon Park, I think.
I know.
And there a lot of people in the basin have been there and have memories there and done family reunions and Klondikes and all sorts of stuff. It's a community park, really.
A lot of people think it's just a scout camp, but family reunions can call and book it. A lot of people just go camping there. A lot of people, non-scouting organizations will rent it out, and so we're not going to limit that in the future. We'll still be open to the public for the things they need to do.
Okay, and again, the best way is to simply call. Is there a website or anything else that?
The Scout office. What's our number? It's 435-789-9108.
All right.
And I know Scott has a plug or two he wants to give you.
Oh yes, please. what else did we want to talk about that I missed here?
Well, there's a lot of stuff. Scouting is huge in our area. We have over 3,200 registered Scouts in the UNA Basin. And we just had Klondike at Bacon Park with 2 separate weekends. We had about 650 people there.
Wow.
Between the 2 weekends that we were having. There was plenty of snow up there.
Yes,
of course,
sure.
The pavilions collapsed, but that was a downside. But it was nice because we got to build snow caves, and we had our people who put on Klondike were generous to bring up some heavy equipment and pile the snow for the Scouts. And so they come up and there's 14 feet of snow that they could pile in and dig around, and so there's a lot of awesome opportunities for Scouts in our area, and there's a lot of Scouts.
Yeah.
And we do a lot for the community. Scouting for Food is one of those things that it is coming up for a lot of people. Some of our units have said they'd like to do it in the fall. Some are going to keep doing it with the Utah Food Bank here in the spring. But last year we I want to look here and get it right. We donated through the Scouting for Food drive. The Scouts were able to collect and drop off about 17,000 pounds of food to the food bank, which is significant in our economy.
They've needed it bad the last couple of years, so this is a big contributor to that.
With all the service that the Scouts do for our community in our area, it totals about 30,000 hours in 2016. That was kind of our total, and so
that's great.
Including Scouting for Food and a lot of other projects. And so Scouts are a good thing to have for our communities, and they're a positive thing for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
So, there is another shout out I want to do, and that's for Gloria Fox. So Gloria is our Cub Master for our community pack that's sponsored by the Elks Lodge. And a lot of our LDS units have little Cub Scout packs and troops, but we have one for the community that is sponsored by the Elks Lodge, and they have they have a little pilot program for kindergarten scouters. They're for 5-year-olds, and you come with your parent, and it's kind of like a parent group setting where every week a different parent plans the activity, and it can be field trips to the firehouse. It could be all kinds of things. But we have lion cubs. It's a pilot program, and tiger cubs in that pack as well. And so if anybody has kids and they'd be interested in participating in tigers and in lions, they both participate with their parent, and then then they move into regular Cub Scouts. But she's looking for people who want to join, and she needs some leaders in her units.
Okay. Contact Scott for that as well?
Yeah, the Scout office.
The Scout office, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Well, we've just about run out of time. I wanted to thank you both again for coming, and of course, thank you for watching, and be sure to get a hold of Scott at the Scout office in order to donate, and let's get Camp Bacon back up and running with brand new pavilions.
Wonderful.
Stay with us, because we still have another segment for you. We've got a special guest who's coming from UBATC. He's part of an international competition. I'll tell you more about that when we come back.
The Vernal Area Chamber wants to add your business in our network. Create change with various committees. Participate in community events and have a strong business resource behind your company's goals. Learn more at vernalchamber.org.
Welcome back to Local Point. On this segment, we have Chandler Vincent and Kevin Mitchell. They're here to discuss an upcoming competition that Chandler will be attending in Abu Dhabi, of all places. Chandler, welcome. Kevin, welcome. Let's start with what's your skill? You're competing in something. What's your skill?
So my skill is welding and fabrication. So the competition I'm in right now, I have to do 5 test plates, which get destructively tested, and I have a pressure vessel that gets hydrostatically tested to 1,000 psi and checks for any leaks. And then I have a series of sheet metal projects that are gas tungsten arc welded, so it tests every position and every process, basically.
Okay, so for those of us who don't know anything about welding, what we're talking about is all that. Well, first of all, I got to back up a little bit for a second, because we got to discuss this relationship here. You were a student at UBATC, and Kevin, you were an instructor at UBATC.
Yes, sir.
And apparently, Chandler's really good at welding. Mm-hmm. Was that something you picked up on when you were instructing him?
When he first started, he was just like any other kid. He come through school, didn't really want to be in school. He just was there to fill a seat, I guess. But it was probably just starting into his freshman year of high school. He found a real interest for welding, where he wanted to do it more and more and more, to where he was incessant. He drove us nuts how much he liked welding. You couldn't even have lunch without him talking about welding.
Oh, yeah.
He just wanted to be the best there ever was.
And apparently, he's pretty darn close, because so in the world of welding, you know, having worked for a company in the oil and gas industry, I know it's difficult to find good welders, right? That's something we talk about. We say we got to find a good welder. There is an art to it, and you've picked up on it to the point that you've gone through competitions. Tell me about Abu Dhabi is where you're going to be going next. That's kind of the end of the road. Well, how'd you get there?
So to get there, my junior year in high school, I took state at a Skills USA competition, which qualified me to go to the national competition in Louisville, Kentucky. And that's where I placed 4th. And then my senior year, I took state again, went to Louisville again, and took 5th. But because I was in the top 12 each year, I got invited to what's called the U.S. Welding Trials. Okay. And that's what I've been in for the past 6 months, competing. And that's what
competing in welding.
Yep.
It's a big deal, apparently.
Yep.
In fact, you don't just go and say, hey, I know how to weld. Before we came on, you were telling me how often do you practice? How often do you work on your skill?
So since June to now, I haven't missed. The only day I've missed is the morning of Christmas, and I went back to work. I would train on average 15 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
For these competitions.
Wow.
Yep.
Because there's that much finesse.
Yep.
In what you're doing, that you have to continually stay up on it.
Yep.
You're like an Olympic athlete.
It's exactly what it is. It's this Olympic.
Olympics for people with real trades.
Yep.
With something they're going to use after the Olympics. This will carry him for the rest of his life.
Well, yeah. So Abu Dhabi. When is this?
This is in October. It's held by the World Skills Foundation. It's a world competition for the trade industries. I'll be competing against all the best welders in the world.
And is there any age range? I mean, you're against everybody, or is there some sort of...
So I think you can't be turning 21 on the year of the world competition.
Okay.
So there is an age limit, and there's certain requirements. To be the U.S. competitor, you have to win the U.S. Weld Trials, which I won a couple weeks ago.
So you're representing the entire United States?
The whole United States. There's only one guy that gets to go, and that's me.
you,
Yep.
against the best welders from all these other countries.
Yep.
And how long is the competition? I mean, do you guys put on your mat? They say 3, 2, 1, go, shoot the gun, and you go?
That is basically it. We compete head to head for a solid 18 hours.
No.
Yep. And the amount of projects we got to do in those 18 hours is insane. So as much as I train, I've only finished my projects in 18 hours twice, and that was both at the top 6 competition and the top 3.
And then at the very end, what you were telling us at the very beginning of this is how they test what you've done, and based on how well your welds perform, you get ranked.
Yep. Yeah, so you got the destructive testing where they'll bend the test in half and they look at the inside of the weld, see if it's all bent clean. Hydrostatically, they make sure it didn't leak water at 1,000 psi, and all these projects are visually assessed as well. So on welds, I have like a minimum of 1 millimeter bead width variation and stuff like that, to where they go in there and they measure how much my weld varied in width.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it's insane criteria. It's incredible.
And what is for you? I mean, besides recognition in the welding world and probably being able to go to any place you want to and say, hey, by the way, look at this, you're going to want to hire me. What does this mean for your future?
So they gave me a $40,000 scholarship to go to school with. Just the right to represent the United States is a dream come true.
Yeah. And
I'm also going to be able to get my certified welding inspector, CWI, on their dollar, so that's going to be nice.
That's fantastic.
There's a lot of small perks in it. It's a dream come true. It's what I've dreamed of since I've figured out that it was a possibility.
Ever since his junior year. His junior year, he says, I want to make the weld trials. That was his goal, was to make the weld trials. We pushed him as hard as we could all the way through high school, but as you know, we moved him on to post-secondary college, and he continued with that. And not only did he make the weld trials, but he won.
That's fantastic. I'm sorry that we're out of time. I wish you luck, Chandler. It's like a local hometown hero going to the Olympics of welding. You're going to have to come back and tell us how it goes. We're going to have to follow up, because how many people are competing? Do you know? I
have no idea.
Okay, well, we'll have to follow up and let you know how many people he's competing against, but I think you got a great shot just because you're a nice guy. Thank you all for watching Local Point. That's all we have for this week's show. Stay tuned for this week's community calendar.
The Vernal Area Chamber wants to add your business in our network. Create change with various committees. Participate in community events and have a strong business resource behind your company's goals. Learn more at vernalchamber.org.
In all seriousness, this is my favorite part of the week. every week. Welcome to this week's community calendar, brought to you by the Vernal Area Chamber of Commerce, building commerce one member at a time. Let's get right into this weekend schedule, shall we? On Friday, March 10th, UNA High School Theater presents Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. In fact, we spelled it right here. Oh, Cody, you spelled it right on one of them, but not the other. Oh, well. So if you look on the one on the left, it's spelled correctly. If you look on the one in the middle, it's not spelled right. You may have noticed last week we spelled it with some D's, and that's how that one in the middle is spelled. It's not chitty chitty, it's chitty chitty bang bang. Anyway, so it's a great show. UNA High School, I went and saw it, and oh my gosh. Seriously, the sets, the costumes, the dancing, just it was nuts. It was so good. When I say nuts, I mean good. Equate those two things together. This is the last weekend for it. So you get Friday and Saturday. It's the only time. And then they're never doing it again. They're going to put that car away. They should probably rent it out. It's an amazing car. What you should do is you go to unahigh.net to reserve your seat, because it's reserved seating. Get nice and close up to the front. And there's also a pre-show that happens right before at 6:30. So go see that as well. Let's fill it up. Maybe they'll do an encore like next week or something. That'd be really cool. I don't think they're going to, but you know, who knows. Saturday, March 11th now, bingo for Buddies Rescue. I want to see what this, look at this, I got paws over there. This is cute. So this is going to be at Western Park at 5 p.m. All the proceeds go to help the Buddies Pet Rescue. Get your tickets at the door. Looking into next week now, March 13th through the 19th. Here comes our full week graphic. As I speak, there's not a lot going on at the beginning of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing happening, but it's getting a lot warmer outside. And as it gets warmer, we're going to start filling these things up with really cool stuff as we get into the summertime. But for now, we're going to move all the way to Thursday for our first event, March 15th. This is the Quilting Retreat at the Grace Event Center in Roosevelt. I don't know much about it, but let me tell you what I do know. It's, according to the sheet that they gave us, it said it's conference by day, retreat at night. Ooh. For more information, you can call Sherry or Cherie. It's not up there, but her number is 435-623-2922, or you can you can go to their website, which is It's not written up here, and this is very funny to me. It's SewSimplyStitched.com, but you got to know how to spell it. So, S-E-W, SimplyStitched.com. If you don't know how to spell the rest of that, Google, you know. Friday, March 16th now. Oh, this is great. Ladies Split Mountain Volleyball Tournament. Doris Salazar puts this on, and she tells me some great stories about this, because Split Mountain Ladies Volleyball, it's huge. I mean, they got people who come from all over the place here to the UNA Recreation Center, March 17th and the 18th, and they play all day long, both days. In fact, Doris, she told me one time that she was in, like, England or something, or maybe it was Paris, and she ran into somebody wearing the Split Mountain t-shirt that they get, because they get a t-shirt. Anyway, you can come, you can watch, you can participate if you're a lady. Saturday and Sunday, March 18th and 19th now, the Gun and Knife Show. There it is there. On their flyer it says the True Gun and Knife Show, which I think means that it's not like they're saying it's a gun show and you show up and it's lawnmowers. They're saying it's all stuff related to guns and knives. UNA Conference Center, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. All proceeds go to the Buckskin Hills shooting area. That's just to the east of Vernal. If you've never been to the Buckskin area, it's a really cool, huge outdoor place with lots of different kinds of ranges. And this only costs $5 to get into. Not like the one I went to Salt Lake a couple weeks ago. It was like $30. Yeesh. I'm going to be there all day, every day. That's where you can find me Saturday and Sunday. I'll probably go to church too. Anyway, now let's get into our weekend weather. What do we got here? It's nice and warm, isn't it? Doesn't it feel great outside? You can see that our highs are up in the mid-50s. They're staying there all weekend long. Our lows are in like mid to lower 30s. You might get a little frost on your window very, very first thing in the morning, but it's warming up. Really nice every day. Clouds are going away. Next week, you can see that our week lows average around, well, you can't see this, but they do. They average around mid to upper 30s still, and we just keep getting warmer. We get into the middle end of next week, and we're finally in the 60s. Oh, my goodness. Get out your boats. Go to the gorge. Go to Staniker. Not yet, but it's getting close. You're itching for it, aren't you? Ooh, you're ready to go fishing? You're ready to get on that boat and go skiing? You know what I'm talking about. Those are the events we have for this week. If you have an event coming up, let us know. 435-781-1902. Leave a comment below if you're watching this on Facebook or some other social media. And thank you for watching VTV6. And like us on Facebook. Anything else, guys? Man, this is fun stuff. I'm really sorry about the chitty thing. He's getting fired. Totally. No, he's not. I have no power here. See you next time.